Hi everybody, I'm Jennifer Blevin-Smith with Integral Clinic Solutions, and you're watching my YouTube channel, Navigating the Business of Medicine. Today I want to talk about a specific subject under the umbrella of credentialing, and that is using the CAQH platform. Now, CAQH stands for Council for Affordable Quality Healthcare, and it's a nonprofit organization that uses and actually has created a free centralized database that all healthcare professionals can use to store their credentialing information. I'm familiar with the Provue specific application because that's what we use in the medical side, but there is a dental one as well. And then there's another thing called the Enroll Hub, and that's a place where some payers might ask you to enroll if you want to receive electronic payments. And we're not going to talk about that today, but just know that that is part of it, kind of like a clearinghouse type thing where if you want to get electronic payments for certain payers that are participating with the CAQH Enroll Hub, you would have to go on there and create a profile and sign up your group or your clinic to do that. Today we're going to talk about Provue. That's the one I'm most familiar with, and like I said, it's a centralized database where providers like doctors, physician assistants, nurse practitioners can put all of their credentialing information. The one caveat to this is not all payers use this centralized database for credentialing your providers. Yes, you heard me correctly. Even though there's a centralized place for storing this information, not everyone uses it. That does not go to say that you shouldn't use it, because it's a nice place for you to store all the information, you know where to go, and you can pull information for other applications and other platforms from there to make sure that you're consistent. Medicare doesn't use CAQH, they use PICOS, but a lot of the things they ask you could probably copy and paste from one profile to the other, and it should make things a little bit faster. Also in Oregon, most payers require you to use the Oregon credentialing application, and they don't use the CAQH. Occasionally, when you're filling out an application to credential a provider with a payer, they will ask for the CAQH number. That's a number just like the MPI number that is specific to each provider, and it will never change. It will be with them for the life of their profession of whatever they are in. And that is a way for the commercial insurances and maybe even some insurance groups such as malpractice groups or something to be able to find that individual and use that information, download it into their database, and not reinvent the wheel with credentialing. CAQH is not just used for initial credentialing, but also re-credentialing for these payers. Some of the payers off the top of my head that in Oregon that do use it because they're national payers are Aetna, United Healthcare, Cigna. And there is a place in the actual platform under the provider when you log in that you have to go and allow insurances to access the information. It's not just automatically allowed, and there's two different options. One is they can notify you when a payer is requesting the information and you have to approve it, or you can just open it up and let whoever is trying to access it have it. And that's how I do it, because I don't have time to be monitoring those emails coming through stating that payers are wanting to access it and having to take time to stop and log in and approve it. I figure if they're trying to get in there, they need it, and I'll just let them. But that's something you need to talk about with your provider directly, since it is their sensitive information and you want to make sure you have their permission to do so. The nice thing about CAQH as well is once everything is filled out, you can actually print the application and it all comes out looking very nice and very professional. Again, unfortunately, some payers don't recognize that, but it's always something nice to have if you wanted to print it out and keep it in a paper file for your providers or whatever else you might need it for. Keep that in mind. You also will have to upload documents such as certificate of insurances, DEAs, medical licenses, and any other things that are asked for in the credentialing. So you have to manually update these. Unfortunately, when you renew the DEA or the licensures, they don't just automatically get updated in CAQH. CAQH is a self-reported platform, which means you also have to maintain it yourself. Usually people who are used to maintaining CAQH will put reminders on their calendars and get into a routine knowing when they need to update things, like when you do renew malpractice insurance, when you do renew DEAs and licenses. The other nice catch about that, though, is that there's already a built-in reattestation. So every 120 days, each applicant's platform has to be reattested for. When you go in to reattest, it will tell you what is missing or what needs to be updated, and that's really nice, especially when you might get behind on things or forget. You usually start getting reminders that things need to be reattested for about 4 to 6 weeks before the deadline. And so you want to keep that current and make sure it's reattested, because you never know when insurances are going to be going in and looking, and you want to make sure all of the current information is in there to make your credentialing process go smoother. Also, if you do have to fill out an application elsewhere for a provider's credentialing, it's nice to have one spot that you know you can go to, as long as you have literally gone in and checked every category, every answer, and ensured that it's accurate and correct. Then you know moving forward that all of their personal information, their education information, their references, their trainings, their malpractice, all of that is current and good, so that you know you've already done your diligence in ensuring it's accurate, and then you just copy and paste, copy and paste. That's the one thing, though, is that you have to go in and make sure that what is entered in CAQH is accurate. So it might be best for you to sit down with the provider initially when you hire them or you come on board and go line by line. And this might take a while, but it's definitely worth it, because anytime you send in a credentialing application or a re-credentialing application and they find discrepancies in anything between the CVs supplied or past applications, they're going to deny it, and it's going to take even longer to credential. So take that extra time up front, sit down with the provider, review all the information to ensure it's correct, and then you know moving forward that all you have to maintain is the current stuff as far as, like I had said, licensures, DEAs, malpractice, locations, and hours, and then it makes it a lot easier for you. I hope this helps. I really encourage you to go on and check out the Provue platform. And if you have CAQH numbers for your providers, you want to store that and keep it in the same place you would keep their individual MPIs, tax IDs, DEA numbers, because it is an important number that you will need and reference often. You will also want to make sure that you're getting authorization from the providers to go on and make changes on your behalf, and usually they do because they don't want to maintain it themselves. But definitely sitting down and making sure everything's accurate when they're new to you is super important and will go a long way. I will put the link to the CAQH Provue platform in the description for the video, so you can keep it and bookmark it and have it. And if you forget your username or password, it's usually pretty easy to recover. But if you have a provider who've never had a CAQH profile, then you definitely want to sit down and have them create one, and moving forward, put everything in there, and then you'll be good to go. But every provider should have one, even if your payers do not recognize it, because it's a nice centralized point for you to access and pull things from. If this video was helpful, smash the thumbs up button. If you haven't yet, subscribe to my channel, and the bell icon will notify you when I release new videos. In the comments section, please share your good, bad, and ugly with CAQH and any kind of tips or tricks you might have with using CAQH in your own experience. Thank you so much, you guys. I hope you're enjoying the winding down of our year, and I appreciate the support. Have a good evening.